Yeah.
What it do, Half and J family? Welcome back to the channel, baby.
Yes.
I ain't gonna dab because she showed what's going on. So.
I forgot.
It's your boy Half.
And your girl Jay.
And we back
with another reaction video.
All right, y'all. So happy today.
Happy today, y'all.
Hope everybody enjoying their day today, man.
Yes. Yes.
You know, we're back at it once again with some more reactions.
Yes.
We'll dive right into it. Hope everybody, having a good time, good day.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm doing fabulous.
Okay.
All right, so let's jump to it. Who will react to today, baby?
We are reacting to Nixon-Trump failed drug war, shredded in epic Jay-Z hit.
I don't know what is this all about. It's all we talking about President Nixon?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And a Jay-Z hit, like
a song, like I guess some lyrics that he wrote in his new song about the failed drug war.
What Nixon though?
I have no clue.
Let's find out together. Before we do, everybody that's out there who has not yet subscribed to the channel,
Yes.
go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
Turn your post notifications on.
Yes.
Like and share this video.
Yes.
And comment down below, baby. Come and join the squad, man. Half and J. We over here kicking off what? Good vibes, baby. Good vibes. Boom.
Bow.
All right, let's see what they talking about with this Jay-Z hit thing.
Now to our special report. Around the world, many nations face corruption. In the U.S., elites often tell themselves a story about America being exceptional or superior to other nations, when the facts show there is American corruption in voting rights, criminal justice, housing policy, a political system that faces legal corruption with some of the most expensive campaigns in the world, and many critiques of U.S. foreign policy, which brings us to this 1996 exchange between Louis Farrakhan and CBS's Mike Wallace.
You go to Nigeria, which is, if not the most corrupt nation in Africa, and it is, it could be the most corrupt nation in the world.
35 years old, that's what that nation is. Now here's America, 226 years old. 30 years ago, black folk got the right to vote. You're not in any moral position to tell anybody how corrupt they are. You should be quiet. When you have spilled the blood of human beings, has Nigeria dropped an atomic bomb and killed people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Have they killed off millions of Native Americans? How dare you put yourself in that position as a moral judge? I think you should keep quiet.
Can you think of one more corrupt?
Yeah, I'm living in one. I'm living in one. I didn't mean to be so fiery.
No, that's good. That's good.
That's my passion.
Farrakhan was not correct about everything in his career, but those points resonated with many as he dispatched the contradiction between America's reality and perhaps her selective vision of herself. Corruption just refers to fraudulent conduct by the powerful, which is pervasive across American history, and especially in the long war on drugs. So remember that exchange. We will come back to it tonight in this report about the failed and often racist war on drugs, which started so long ago. Now, we've covered this story many ways. Tonight, we're going to look at it through the life and poetry of an American who lived it and lived to tell about it. And he sure is telling. It's an American dream story, and you may know some of it, but you don't know all of it, especially since the story's not over. And a new installment just came out heading into this weekend, as Jay-Z uses an unusually long 4 minutes of straight poetry to tackle the drug war, business, discrimination, and perseverance. The poetry spoken over a beat in a song with other artists. And I think you'll see why it's poetry as we go through it now. Jay, also known as Hove, marveling how he went from poverty to $1 billion and touting how those others basically came from the same space or crib. Kanye, who worked with him as a producer and collaborator. Rihanna, who Jay.
1/3 of America's black billionaires built fortunes with Jay-Z. That's an amazing accomplishment right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know he's proud to see that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that just lets you know there's no hate in his body as far as to see somebody else grow and even perhaps get bigger than him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's not scared of that. 'Cause a lot of people be scared of that.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Went from poverty to $1 billion, and touting how those others basically came from the same space or crib. Kanye, who worked with him as a producer and collaborator, Rihanna, who Jay signed early on, and LeBron, who's linked to Jay's Rock Nation company. So Jay's reference there to technically is both the caveat, LeBron's done plenty on his own, and a double entendre for technical fouls in basketball. Jay opens there by asking forgiveness for making his first dollars off drugs, cooked on a stove, and notes he left that drug or dope game with his record clean, turning the cocaine into champagne. And that's a nod to how his ability to evade charges, a clean record, gave him the lane to go from street coke to the good life of the champagne. It's also a play on how he makes money off records. His albums are now clean records since he left the street life, while the alchemy of turning illegal coke into legal bubbly sounds like a turn on Jesus turning water to wine. And it is, because soon after Jay completes the parallel.
Jesus turned water to wine for whole bitches took a stove.
But think about it. There's nothing automatically legitimate about wine or champagne. It was criminally punished during Prohibition, a policy that ultimately fueled gangs and violence and was the only constitutional amendment ever to be reversed because both parties determined that Prohibition was a messy failure. So politicians turned the alcohol back to a legitimate business, a slippery spectrum which Jay notes a few lines later in this poem, saying, "Breezy, what the business is, we pushing Fenty like fentanyl, the issue's all legitimate, he was down 10 for this." And those lines quickly go from prohibition to a war on street drugs associated with minorities, as mentioned earlier in this broadcast, to fentanyl, a huge driver of drug problems and deaths, which politicians do not treat criminally the same way they attack the drugs that Jay or others once sold. I can tell you corporations have made over $10 billion selling addictive painkillers legally. So that's a contrast. Jay also invokes the fellow billionaire Rihanna, citing her Fenty fashion line, noting everything they produce now, that they deal, if you will, is legitimate. And that other line I mentioned refers to E. Emery Jones. He's an associate who served roughly 10 years for a drug sentence and now works at Jay's company. Now look, many listeners may not know his name, but the story is something so many communities know. It illustrates how hundreds of thousands of others are locked up for non-violent drug offenses. The data shows the drug war is discriminatory, that entire categories of drugs can be arbitrarily banned or allowed, often depending on who is really using them. That ranges from prohibition, like I mentioned, to the opioid abuse, which does not involve the same sentences dealt to black and brown Americans. Or marijuana, long classified as the most severe federal level, Schedule 1. But now, bet you've heard about this, marijuana has been shifted by politicians and voters to legal in 19 states and counting. But the warehousing of so many people for drugs that are now, right now, illegal all over the nation, well, as a policy matter, it's absurd. Even before you get to race, it's also been documented as racist. Now, Jay did evade indictment for dealing illegal drugs. Now he gets paid for selling legal ones. He founded the upscale Monogram Marijuana Company, which is a play on the traditional term monogram, a reference to selling a gram. And this poem marvels about living on both sides of the law in one lifetime, as this law around the country has been changing. I want you to listen here as Jay conjures the image of a monogram joint in his pocket, while actual monograms are often embroidered on the breast pocket. Jay invokes being a writer. He's careful with his sentences, or bars as lyrics are called, because he lives now the legitimate life. Writing sentences, not jail sentences. Rap bars, not jail bars. And those jail bars come from the draconian laws, so he will clash with those who make the laws, he says. He calls that clash by the slang term smoke, which is also a play on the smoke he now sells legally. It's deep. This is a kind of elevated prism for these issues. I can tell you, we've interviewed many lawmakers who don't come close to this level of nuance about drug policy and its arbitrary and pernicious results. The same song then briefly explores how pain fuels growth.
All this pain from the outside inspired all this growth within. Some new planes getting broken in. Highest elevation of the self. Beta around and gave the bright wealth.
Now, those new planes could be just private jets. As Jay notes, you would need the right people to buy them, the right brothers with enough wealth, or a double entendre there apparently to the Wright brothers who invented plane travel. The same line cites another Jay business, the paper planes brand, which tees off a sort.
Is anybody just tripping off how he's breaking down the bars though?
It down.
Right.
He's breaking it all the way down.
I think that's kind of dope though, especially when he just said about the Wright brothers. That was hard right there though. I like how he breaking it down though. He did his research on it.
Right.
That's dope. That's dope.
Or a double entendre there apparently to the Wright brothers who invented plane travel. The same line cites another Jay business, the paper planes brand, which tees off a sort of childhood imagination when you fold a paper plane. Now, am I reaching? Well, art is always up for interpretation, but I can tell you Jay's longtime producer, Young Guru, decodes this part of the verse in a new video that was just posted online.
You gotta realize that everything being said in here is a fact.
Right.
It's not aspirational no more. New planes getting broken in.
Right.
You know what I'm
says
saying?
on here.
So it's like, it's literally paper planes,
brand.
right? The
Paper
brand.
brand.
So new clothes, like when you try new clothes, you breaking in your clothes. This man just ordered a new plane.
Oh,
yeah, but then it's new planes getting broken in, new levels of existence.
All right, so if you're counting, that's airplanes, the planes company, paper planes, and planes of existence.
Wow.
Quadruple entendre. This poetry, like other great art, takes more time to fully understand than it takes to just see or hear on a first glance. And that is why many people say Jay remains the greatest of all time, known by the acronym GOAT. And by the end of this dense poetic verse, which just dropped on...
I'll be to keep pausing it though, but I would love to see him do a reaction.
Right, and just break down
The way he breaks it down though,
right.
like it's so professional though.
Right.
Like, how he does it though.
He makes sure you fully understand.
Right, the acronym of GOAT, the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? That's just funny though, man. I like that.
Acronym GOAT. And by the end of this dense poetic verse, which just dropped on Friday, Jay admonishes his would-be judges or competitors as donkeys, a play on GOAT, but then makes a reference that takes us all the way back to where we began.
Next time we have a discussion, who the goat, you donkeys know this. Forgive me, that's some passion talking. It's time to feel like Patton Ca and talking to Mike Wallace. I think y'all should keep quiet.
That's his passion talking. Jay invoking that classic moment we showed you to offset his own grandiose talk, asking forgiveness for being so strident even as he meant every word. But notice what else he's doing. Ending this poem just as he began it when he asked forgiveness for dealing drugs in his youth. And notice what else he's doing. The Farrakhan parallel can apply just to proclaiming himself the greatest. That would be like, I think, a literal reading. Or maybe it could apply all the way back to this entire poem about America's drug war and Jay's own path. Think about it. Decades in, this billionaire entrepreneur with proven success, measurable success in music, media, sports, business, law, and politics, still finds he must explain basic facts about American corruption and racism to elite and white society. And many leaders and people still don't see it or refuse to face it. That kind of entitled ignorance, which can cause real damage to real people's lives, well, that might raise your ire, might get your passion talking. And if the facts are talking, well, it's a good time for people to listen. and then listen again and make sure you got the point.
You know, I don't know what you guys got out of that, but I got out of it is that when you're listening to rap, you have to hear the message that's inside of the lyrics. Now, I'm not saying all rap, because you got some rappers, a lot of rappers nowadays, who just talking about absolutely nothing. You know what I'm saying? But drugs and women and so forth and so forth.
Right.
But you do have those artists like Jay-Z, who is delivering the message to society about what's going on in the world. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, like he said, you have to just cipher what he's saying, though. You know what I'm saying? You have to pick apart the message. You know, but I was just saying the thing as I'm watching this, if Pac was alive right now, you know, he was political like that too.
Right.
I would wonder, like, what would his raps be like?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? With how much, so much is going on in the world.
Right.
Like,
So much.
man, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I like how he broke it down. And it just opened my eyes to how deep, you know, rap music really is.
Right.
You know, we've done so many reactions. And, you know, when we first started, I really didn't understand some of the...
Because you're an R&B girl. So,
Right.
You know, you don't listen to, you know, headphones don't listen to rap. So.
But the more and more I started doing the reactions, that's when I started...
Really started listening to rap.
Right, to the message that's in the song.
Right. I remember Eminem did a cipher on the, was it the BET? I want to say it was maybe the BET Award or something like that. And in the cipher, he was talking about, like, worldly things that's going on and stuff like that, and how, I think at the time he was saying, I don't know if you say you voted for Trump or something like that, then don't be, you know, you're not a fan of mine or something like that. He was saying, I can't remember if it was Trump or something like that, but yeah, it was just a trip how he was speaking on worldly things in a freestyle though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Straight off the top of the dome. You know, so, you know, but like I say, it's just messages that just be out there that a lot of people just got to listen to when you listen to rap sometimes. Not all artists, but some artists. You know what I mean? So, y'all let us know what y'all think about it, though. Leave a comment down below. And, let's go to the shout-outs.
Okay, if I can see. First shout-out goes to Travis Brant. What's up, Travis Brant?
Travis Brant, what's going on? Shout out to you. Hope you enjoyed that reaction. Come back and join us for some more.
Second shout out goes to Sandra Vance. What's up, Sandra Vance?
Sandra Vance, shout out to you. Hope you definitely enjoyed that reaction. Come back and join for some more reactions.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Anything you want to add?
I have nothing to add.
All right, well, we out this thing, man. We love y'all.
Yes, you do.
And like we always say, make sure you go out your way.
To have yourself a beautiful day.
Beautiful day. If you don't, we will come looking for you. Peace.
Peace.